And we are live. I am here with one of the challengers to the Cage Warriors middleweight title, Will Currie. Will, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited you got this fight. I was certain you were going to get it, but I know how difficult you found it to find an opponent.
Well, Mick Stanton has said yes. He had a good win over Hyder Khan on
Yeah,
a different promotion. I think he won the title in that one. He had a loss on PFL, and then before that, he had a win on Darren Stewart. So, he's been very active recently. He turned me down before. I think he's accepted this one because it's for the belt. But
yeah,
yeah, he's a veteran. He's tough. He's got overall quite a good skill set on every area, but he's not special anywhere, I wouldn't say. Don't think he hits like a Shamu. Don't think he's as wiry and strange as like a Naglis. I don't think he's as fluid as Christian. I don't think so. Overall, I feel like I've fought, even Derry Belandi. I think I've fought the better opponents already. So I
yeah.
feel like this will be a masterclass. This will be a very good fashion to win the belt. It's 5 rounds. I'm training for 5 rounds, but I'm preparing to put on a very good performance here.
I definitely think it's helped you, this one being for the belt. I definitely think that's going to make people step up that weren't going to kind
Yeah.
of just for a normal Cage Warriors fight.
The
But yeah,
golden ticket to the UFC, Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. You know what I mean?
exactly that. And he's been around for a while. 10-7, like he hasn't got as many fights as I expected him
Mm,
to have, but he's been around a long time. He's fought some good guys. He's fought on some good promotions and he's got some good wins.
yeah.
Um, I guess you just feel that you've got the better skill set.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just how would I say? I've had 11 professional fights, 5 amateur fights. So, I've had about 16 fights.
Yeah,
Um, I've had quite a hard run in Cage Warriors, I believe. I think I've had some hard fights in Cage Warriors. Um, he's a good fighter. Like, I'm not going to say he's not good. He's definitely got some good skills, but
yeah.
there's levels, as they say. Levels as I think is it, yeah, Paddy Pimblett, he goes levels all the time. Yeah, it's just I look at him and I look at myself and I believe I've got his number everywhere. So, you know, ultimately it's up to me now to just do what I believe I know I can do and get that belt and then head off to the UFC. That's the
Yeah.
game plan.
And this is on the Unplugged card, the one on the 24th of March, so like the week after the UFC. Was there any part of you that wanted to be like in London on the 17th on that Cage Warriors show, or does it not really matter to you?
I know what you mean because being on that Cage Warriors show in London, it's like the day before the UFC and there's a big
Yeah,
buzz that weekend. But the way I see it, I'm gonna just be chilling that weekend after all that training camp done, hard work, chilling, watching some great fights, getting motivated, pumped up by
yeah,
watching them. And then I go to the BT Unplugged, which although it's not got a crowd, it's like you got your own people there a little bit. And
yeah.
when I say your own people, like my mum, my dad's, you know what I mean, like my family
How many
people are
people
going
are
to be.
you allowed to invite?
It depends. I'm going to try and be cheeky and ask for 15, but they usually just give you 10. But I'm going to try
Okay.
and ask for 15. But the way I see it is, it's quite a cool event because it's very nice layout. The
Yeah,
things, I don't know what you call it. The production, that's the word. The
yeah.
production looks great at the BT Sports Studios. So it's swings and roundabouts. They've all got their own pros and cons. But I'm pretty happy being on the BT Unplugged. It's quite cool.
Yeah, and you've obviously got good history with that show as well, right? From the last time you fought there.
Well, the last time I fought there was Michael Shamu, and it was a good night. It was an interesting night. Definitely an experience, a trip, but it was a good night. So yeah, I'm looking to repeat it, except try and not take a big smack this time. I don't think he can hit like Shamu though. Look, hey, anyone can get caught. It's MMA, it's fighting, but I know that I was in there last time with Rocket. A Rocket. I don't think
Yeah,
Sten Stanton. Even if you drop me, right? I know because I've got a very good chin. Hard to just switch me off. I've never been just switched off, other than when I was other than when I was 18 with Jimmy Manor and a sparring session. But I got up very quickly even after that. But the only time I've been dropped or any time in Cage Warriors with the spinning Duncan knee or the elbow or the punch, even after they drop me, they have to kill me on the ground. And I'm very hard to beat on the ground, even in that buzz state, even in
Yeah.
that state of like I'm still got the instinct, and it just makes me even harder to beat because it's very demotivating to hit someone with a great shot, try and take them out on the ground. They're missing every shot. They're fluid. They've got some sort of like knowledge on the ground that you're not aware of, and then now you're getting tired and now they're back up to their feet, or I've got you back on the ground in my position where I want you. So I'm a nightmare. I'm a real nightmare on the feet.
Yeah.
I can land crazy kicks. I haven't even shown the full arsenal on the feet. I feel like my ground has shown a lot more than my striking, but I'm getting more explosive training with Modestus. Him and his dad have a great training program. They've been getting me a lot more athletic. Modestus is 6'3", 98 kg, and he can do a flip.
We've seen
He's
it.
even after that injury. You know what I
I
mean?
know.
He's crazy. So they're making me a much better fighter because his dad, Gintas, he's very clever. This guy, he's got some very, very good workouts. And because I'm seeing Modestus, we're doing like similar exercises. I'm seeing Modestus do heavier weights than me, better techniques. So he's got even better endurance, and it just motivates me while I'm training with him because I can see the benchmark. And
Yeah.
training with him only is making me stronger and stronger. And it's quite funny because Stanson's with Chadwick, so it's tag team. Maybe we go to the WWE and do a tag team. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I forgot they train together. So
Yeah,
he will be thinking that he wants to get one back for the gym, and you're thinking that you want to go 2-0. I love that.
exactly.
So Christian Duncan, your former foe, he's fighting on the UFC London card. I said this to you previously, but I think for both of you, there are easier fights in the UFC than you for each other in Cage Warriors. And I really think that he's gonna do well because I think honestly, like the fights he had with you were so tough. They're really going to help him in this stage of his UFC career. How do you see that fight going for him?
He's fighting a decent guy, He's not
Yeah,
fighting a bum UFC fighter. Like, for example, Tyson Pedro, who Modestus is fighting. He was great 4 years ago. He had an injury. He's come
yeah,
back. He didn't fight the two best fighters, like, in UFC or, like, two great fighters. They were more, like, warming up back into
yep,
it, which I think is the great advantage for Modestus because Modestus has had real challenges recently. With Christian, yeah, he's had myself. He beat Jati. He's a decent fighter. He got a bit unlucky, didn't he, with that New Year's one? But before that, he
yeah.
beat that other guy. That guy was okay. But the guy he's fighting in UFC in his debut, Todorovic, he's not rubbish. This guy is decent. I'm
No,
not saying he's top 10, but he's decent. He's got the
he
quality.
is. Yeah,
So if Duncan can go in, smoke this guy, then who knows what we're looking at here. Duncan could just be some phenom and could go through a lot of these guys. But I feel like it's going to be a fight for him.
yeah,
Not in the sense of he won't win. I think he'll win, but
yeah.
they've given him somebody who's got 6 UFC fights. He's 3-3. He's not
Yeah.
like he's
They
not rubbish. You
certainly,
know what I mean?
yeah, they
Yeah.
certainly haven't kind of, and we see
I
this
don't
all
think
the
he could
time
have
with
got
the
an easy
UFC.
fight. I don't think
Yeah,
Duncan could get an easy fight. That's because of what you've just said. Because he can just go through the annuals, look at him up, look at his fights, look at his highlight reel, look at who he's fought, and the quality. And you're just like, yeah, 10-10 UFC entry. I probably don't want to fight. So they got the Todorovic, the tough Serbian who's just going to fight anybody. So they got that guy. It's the way the game works. A guy called Guram Kutaladze. He's from Georgia,
yep,
and no one wants to fight this guy. You know what I mean? He's a savage. He's an absolute animal. He's a killing machine. And you see who Guram's fought, and then I'm not going to say names, but you see who other people fight when they enter the
yeah,
promotion.
yeah.
Just the way the game works. It's just the way it is. It's an ugly game, but it's beautiful. It's
Well,
the way
yeah,
it
they
is.
decide to promote some people as stars, and if they do, then they kind of do get a kind of handpicked kind of opponent list, and each stage is a nice step up for them, and if they pass that
Developmental
test, then
contract or something. Whereas
exactly,
Guram straight
exactly.
in 18-1 guy from Kazakhstan, boom. No one wants to fight you. You got to fight this guy. and it's
Yeah.
like they're not even ranked in the top 15. They're not
Well,
even
that
ranked in the
is
top 10, and they're having top 5 fights already. That's the problem with this sport. It's ruthless. I'm fighting
exactly.
guys, and then you're like thinking to yourself, there's easier fights in the top 10 of the UFC than this. And it may sound delusional to some people, but
It's
I'd
not.
rather fight. I'd rather fight Till than Duncan. It's just the truth. I would wreck Till, and that's just my opinion. I've always had that as my opinion since I was
You
20.
you said that to
Styles
me
make
in
fights.
a post-fight interview at Fight Star when you
Exactly.
were still an amateur.
I thought my ground game was that good, yeah.
There was a guy in my office, and he said, I saw your interview with this guy Will Currie, and he reckons he would beat Darren Till. Like, is he that good?" And I was like, "Yeah, he's gonna be that good for sure, for sure."
But
That was
I'll say even if I couldn't have beaten him back then because maybe I lacked a bit of physical strength, you could argue and his stand up was a bit better. Now I would smoke him. I would smoke him. And look, actions speak louder than words. Bullshit talks, action walks. So, let me fight Stanton, do the job there. Go to who knows what will happen. I think Shamu's fighting Naglis.
Oh, this
So,
is a middleweight card, isn't it? Like, because
mhm.
I think I have no idea whether winning the belt will be enough to get you to the UFC, or sometimes you need to defend the belt first. But there's another great middleweight fight on that card as well. Let me find it. Who else is on the card? I already picked it out as probably your
I think
title.
you had Bonner, you had
Yeah. Um,
Shamu and Naglis, you had
Yeah, it's. I think it's going to be the Bonafide is probably going to be the title challenger for the next one,
mm,
maybe. Um,
potentially. That's it. That's if he beats that guy Cadena. I don't know if he's going to do
yeah. Well, maybe
that.
it'll be
Anyway,
Cadena though.
no. What I'll say is I don't think so. I think truly this is what inside scoop for Katie. My manager is Graham.
Yep.
Graham Boylan. Graham. That's not a guarantee, but he was like, do this in good fashion. You win this fight well. It's looking good. You know what I mean? With Mick Maynard, he likes you. He thinks you're a good fighter. You go to the UFC after this one, probably if you win. Of course, like nothing's written in stone, but
Yeah,
I feel like if I do a good job, I do the performance. I think the UFC will just want me. So we'll see.
I agree. Where and like what round and how would you like to get the finish?
Oh, of course, first round in the first 10 seconds, if in an ideal world. But what do I think? What do I think? I think it's going to be like I come out. He comes out, he's going to probably be thinking he can catch me with his hands because he's got some tight hands every so often. He throws some good straights and hooks and whatever. But it's going to be straight into taller, reachier, better footwork, switching stances, kicking range. I've got you in this range. And then it's like he's going to try and close the distance. He's going to walk into something potentially, or we'll get into a clinch. If it's the grappling and in any form, I've got him completely. And if it's on the feet striking, I just feel myself is too long and I'll catch him with something. I've got very good striking. It's just people
Yeah,
haven't seen it to the level that I had. I know I've got it. I'm better than I was when I fought uh, Christian on the feet because I fought him. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
him was like a blueprint as to how you get better on the feet. So I didn't switch stance when I fought Duncan. I do now. I didn't throw certain shots, but I learned them from him because that's the way the game works. You just
yeah,
you fight, you have it with someone, you go to war, and then after the war, as long as you don't die, you learn from everything that happened in that fight, and I'm going to show it in this one because the last one against Shamuik, it started nice, and then he came forward and I was like, oh shit, rush backwards a little bit, and then it was just so fast, it was
yeah,
crazy. This one I just feel like I'll have more time to be able to just be able to be a bit more, because with Shamu in that first 30 seconds, first minute and a half, he is not a fun guy to fight. He really
yeah.
isn't. But at the end of the day, we got through that one for now. Now we've got Stanton, and I think I can really do a number on this guy. So we'll see.
Oh, I'm absolutely buzzing for that. You mentioned Tyson Pedro earlier. Obviously, you're flying out to corner Modestus on UFC. What is it?
84, I believe.
84. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah,
Um, absolutely buzzing to see Modestus back where he belongs. When do you fly?
I believe it's Monday.
Oh my goodness, how exciting! It's
I know.
how does it feel to be flying out to Australia to corner him in the UFC?
Feels good. It's going to be a very long flight. It's just going to
Very
be
long
a.
flight. He said you guys are in economy, which I just find shocking. You're three of the tallest dudes I know.
Look, at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. Tyson Pedro is on death row, and we're going to go over to Australia and we're going to beat him in his hometown, and then we're going to leave, and that's it. At the end of the day, it's not ideal. We know it's not ideal, but
Yeah.
we got to get it done. This is how the game works. And at the end of the day, I truly look at it and I think Tyson Pedro 4 years ago, what a prospect! What a prospect! Like he looked really, really good. He had some losses to OSP and Shogun, which weren't great, but when he did perform, he looked
Yeah.
great. He looked really good. He's got a win over Roundtree as well, who
Yeah.
beat Modi with the knee stomp.
I
So
do think that was a different Khalil, if I
totally different.
can,
Totally different.
like
Can I just state that Khalil that fought Tyson there and the Khalil that fought Modestus, if we had to do FIFA ratings or like ratings, that Khalil was like 74. The Khalil that Modestus fought was like an 89. You know what I mean? Like, it's the way the
I
game works.
totally
It's
agree,
brutal.
yeah. Yep.
It's brutal, but only the people like yourself will ever be able to understand that. Whereas Pedro, I truly believe his prime was before. I don't look at him now. He's grey now. He's grey. I don't look at him now and think to myself, oh, he's sharp. He looks like he's aged a lot. He's gone
Mhm.
through a lot of shit. He's had two bum fights. Like Modestus fought good guys. Truly look at these guys that Tyson Pedro has fought in the last two. And that's his recent fights. Then it's 4 years ago.
Mhm.
Modestus's last two, Chuck and Lee Chadwick, genuinely good fighters, like
Yeah.
decent, solid opponents. Like they're big men, they're athletic. That they'll hit you. These guys that Tyson was fighting, I'm telling you, look it up. I couldn't even believe it, but I know why. Because he's connected with Bam Bam. He's connected with Whitaker. They're friends. They want to bring up that link. I think they've got like some sponsor or whatever, and now they're thinking, "Oh, bring Modestus in, keep Tyson looking good." They've fucked up with this one
He's
because
been brought in to lose for
he
sure. Like,
started off as a 7-1 underdog. Now he's 3-1 because people who they know that was a mistake. They
yeah.
don't realize it, but that's
Oh,
the
I
thing. It's
should have
not
got my
easy to
money on
realize.
then.
Yeah, same,
Right, I'm gonna do it today
same.
before the odds get any shorter.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, because Modestus is training so good. He's looking so good in the gym. He's so powerful. That knee injury's gone. We don't even. It's like everyone thinks that you touch his knee and he's finished. People don't
Which
understand.
which is
He
really
went to
funny
Harley
because
Street. Went to
yeah.
Harley Street. This is the smartest people in the world when it comes to healthcare. He had thirty
Mhm.
thousand spent on a surgery, and the UFC cut him because they probably thought to themselves, we don't want to have a liability who might potentially cost us more money with injuries or whatnot. But he's come back. He's looked solid. He's looked sturdy. He's smashed that guy in his last fight, put him to sleep, and now he's coming over to Australia. And at the end of the day, Tyson Pedro is going to get beaten in his hometown, and then we're gonna leave. And I think it's going to be a great win because, as I said, Pedro's known by all these guys in the industry. He's related to Bam Bam. They
Yeah.
have Bam Bam on an Instagram story the next day going, "No, yeah, sorry, Tyson got knocked out last night. It wasn't great, but that's going to be all good for Modestus to increase his profile." And I believe that will happen. I think he's going to smoke Pedro because he's paid the dues. I've seen how hard he's worked. That
Yeah.
guy works so hard. Like I can't. His weight makes me feel so like uh, inferior when it comes to the ethic. He's so solid with his work rate. Like it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. But I'm learning from it and I'm picking up. So
I
it's good.
love
He's,
that
he's going to
he's
get
got
what's
a
coming
big
to him.
name though, because like yeah, wherever you think Tyson is in his career, he is a
Yes.
big name. Most
Yes.
people who watch the sport would know him. So yeah, I
Yes.
think it's going to be
And he's a
great
good
for
fighter. I'm not
Modestus's
saying he's not a good
profile.
fighter.
Yep.
He's a good
Yeah.
fighter, and it's going to be a good win. I'm just saying this is not the best Tyson Pedro. This is not this is not the PB. It's not about. This is the truth. He's been out for 4 years, fought two bums, and this is not a bum he's fighting now. He's fighting a fucking Baltic gladiator who's big, strong, powerful, and mean, and he's hungry because he's just everything's. It's all about timing, Katie.
Yeah.
It's all about timing. And right now is the perfect timing. We weren't even in the UFC. Now we're fighting next week. It's how the game works.
Yeah.
And I'm going to Australia next week. So, shrimp on the barbie. You know what I mean? I'm
So
looking
by the
forward
end
to
of the
it. Yeah?
year, we could be seeing you both on the same UFC card. Like, how
Ooh,
amazing would that be? Oh, I'd love to
that
see
would be
that.
so
Love to
cool.
see that.
That'd be so cool. Imagine all these cage warriors people just in the UFC. It just becomes ultimate fighting cage warrior.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
happens if you get a promotion that's, like, got the best people in it when they come through. Like, they're all gonna come from the same place. Like,
It would be so legendary if you had like 3 or 4 guys in the UFC who are like top 5 or champion from Cage Warriors.
yeah,
That's how you're going to really start building Cage Warriors as a brand. And now I start looking at certain people who've joined. It's very interesting to see the landscape over the next few years because Cage Warriors just does produce every so often some good guys, and I want to be the next one.
yeah, I've no doubt that you're gonna be, no doubt at all. I love the way you and Modestus talk about training together. You always say about his work ethic and like what his dad's brought to your training, and he always says about the mindset that you've brought to him. And I did see in his last fight against Chuck, like that walkout, he literally was scaring me. Like
Mm,
you got him into
mm,
some kind of zone. Like, talk to
mhm.
me about that mindset and how you developed it for yourself.
Um, it's like anime, Star Wars, video games, all these things, they have like a story based mode, right? Where there's a villain, there's the evil character, and then there's the heroes, etc., etc. And I always tend to look at like the villains in these shows and find them to be the most captivating. For
Yeah,
example, Sauron in Lord of the Rings is a badass. Voldemort in Harry Potter, don't get me wrong, he's evil as hell, but he's such a badass. Like, all this energy, and it's like, what is it essentially? Star Wars with the Force and all this kind of stuff. It's like we can't be pussies, essentially. We can't be
yeah,
weaklings in this life. And that's even WWE is another one. How you have the heel, how you have baby faces, and the whole dynamic of how this works. You can learn a lot from these industries and take it into MMA, because MMA, in
yeah,
my opinion, is a real life anime. It's like a real life uh video game. It feels like a video game. It feels like I'm living a movie style video game life. And what I do is I take these things, like these TV shows, these, to make it more lighthearted, to make it more fun, to make it more of a mindset which is healthy and going to make you go forward, rather than look at it like stiff and serious, which is what he is. He used to be very stiff, serious, like, oh, this, he can't eat that, he can't drink this, he can't do that, he can't do this. But and then you know you lose anyway. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's about trying to be a bit more of a Jack Sparrow. You look at John Jones, for example, you look at Tyson Fury. These guys, they don't always do everything to the book, but they seem to win for some reason because they've got that je ne sais quoi. They've got that thing that cannot be explained. And essentially, what Modestus and when we talk about mental is, I'm not saying you're being a Sauron, you're going to be Voldemort. What I'm saying is tap into what they've got, tap
yeah,
into that dark energy which they can get. And it's the lightsaber thing that I think he liked the most. Is you got the
yeah,
blue lightsaber, which is for like the Jedi's and stuff, and you got the red for the Sith. And then you had Mace Windu, who had the purple, and that's a hybrid. So it's about being the warrior in the garden, not the gardener in the war. It's about being somebody who's got yin and yang. You're capable of being an animal. You're capable of killing. You're capable of absolute darkness and atrocity, but you're also capable of love and affection and being sweet and sensual. So you want to be able to do both and just take that hat on and hat off, whichever situation arises, rather
yeah,
than just being some soft, nice, weak, pathetic person who's just going to get pushed over by everyone, because like nice guys finish last. But at the same time, it's not about not being nice at all. It's just about having that balance, and that's the key. And that's what Modestus says. Modestus is such a nice guy.
I
I
know.
don't want to make it like I'm destroying this person, but Modestus is so kind. He's so nice, always polite, courteous. I don't know. I say please and thank yous, but I'm just like, he's a great person. Like, you always, everyone I've ever met, they all say the same things about Modestus. He's a quality human, and I essentially am just bringing a bit more barbarism to him, and that's what my purpose is there. And it helps in the fight business because it's a savage game, it's a nasty game, it's a very mean game, it's a great game. There's respect, and there's always like, this is what I'm trying to say. Like,
Yeah.
You're trying to kill the person. You're trying to kill it, but when it's done, it's done. There's respect. So it's this flip switch mentality which you got to create, and that's what I'm helping with him with.
You're so right. I've seen fighters say that they've met their opponent's kids on fight week, and it's like really messed with their head because they're just thinking about like taking food off the table for them, and like it is like a mind game. At some point, you've got to flip the switch and not care
Become
about that
evil.
other
Become
person,
evil.
and not
It's
give a about anything other than you getting the win and you wanting it
selfish,
more. And yeah.
sociopathic. That's what wins it in this game. And you think John Jones ain't a sociopath? You think he
I
ain't a
don't doubt
sociopath?
it. I
You
absolutely
think
don't doubt
Mayweather's not a sociopath?
it.
You
The
think
thing with John
McGregor's not a
Jones, I'm not
sociopath?
sure John Jones ever turns it back the other way if he
Jones is
can.
the worst. Jones is the most. But the thing is, look how great he is at fighting, look how dark he is. And you know what? Towards the end of his career, he weren't looking as good because he was
Yeah,
softening. When he was younger, when he was younger coming up, he was Sauron. He was the Dark Lord, man. He was the guy coming guillotining Machida and just dropping on the floor. It's
yeah,
fucking sick. But it was great. You know, this is what do the people love? The people love blood. The people
yeah.
love the most aesthetic, beautiful violence. They
So
don't want
true.
to see some tap along winning on points. They don't care.
So
Sorry
true.
about that. They want to see Tyson. They want to see that energy of destruction. That's what is attractive to people. The men respect it. Women seem to love it as well. Like everyone respects it. Everyone likes a guy who is a savage and can back it up and has that ability. And it's not just about, like I'm telling him to finish people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's like my Naglis fight, for example. You know, these don't feel like wins. They don't feel like wins. They don't. They just feel like, yeah, he passed. You got to see, he passed, just passed. They don't feel like wins. What feels like a win is what he did to Chuck. What feels like a win is when you finish the guy, you bury the guy, and you do it in beautiful fashion.
yeah,
And that's what he did in his last one. And yeah, it's just essentially ruthless. You know, and it's a ruthless business. It's a ruthless game. It is a nasty game, but you know, it used to be a lot worse. It used to be samurai swords and archery and savagery on the battlefield back in the medieval ages. And let's even not go further back because it was worse then. Because when you think about it, MMA is pretty soft compared to that. But people in our
yeah,
day and age look at MMA like cage fighting. Oh my god. Oh my god, he's crazy. Meanwhile, I'm just thinking to myself what our ancestry has gone through. And this
yeah,
is the thing, they were too dark back then. But you wouldn't you be with what they had to deal with, where you get a cut. Nowadays someone gets staffed, they're like going, oh, where's my antibiotics? Back then you just died.
yeah,
You just died. You either lived or you died. It was one or the other, you know. People didn't complain. It used to be like, two of my sons have died this year, but I've got to keep going. Now it's I've lost my iPhone. Oh, you know, people are soft now. People have lost it. People have literally not got it anymore. And it's just a situation of I take inspiration from these films, from these movies. I love history. I've read everything about all the great conquerors. I know everything about any form of history. I can go from Chinese history to European history to everything, and I just take inspiration from certain names like Achilles, Alexander the Great. You know, I take inspiration from these things and I enhance and take that into myself, and that's the whole mindset. It's the mindset. It's all about mindset. If
I
you have this
find it
mindset of
fascinating how you can just tap into that.
Genghis Khan, for example, I know this guy is. I've read a book about Genghis Khan and how much how much of a savage life this guy had, and how his father got killed, and at the age when I say I've read the start of the book, and he was in the wilderness at a young age, and then his brother, they were rationing food. His brother ate too much of the food, just killed his brother. You're eating too much of the food, dead. You're killing, dead. You know what I mean? Just ruthless. And then his other brothers, Supatai or whatever, they all build up their tribe, and then they come up, and then they unite Mongolia. Next thing you know, he's got the biggest landmass empire of all time. Legacy. That's the mindset you got to take. You got to look at individuals who are greater than you, and think why did they have that minerals? Why were they able to be made of that kind of stuff? And then
Yeah,
it just motivates you for the fighting, because you realize what we're doing. It's even better, to be fair. There's no sword coming into my neck and gonna kill me and then I'm dead. It's just me having a fight with some other geezer who's my size. Not even like he's bigger than me. He's my
Mm.
size. Or if it's Pereira, then it's a different situation. He's gonna be bigger. But my size, it's a fight. We've got gloves on. Yeah, you can elbow, you can't go for the eyes. You can't, it's not that big deal in my opinion. See, people look at it and go, oh my God. I'm so comfortable. I look at it
Yeah,
just like, yeah, okay, it's the situation. And yeah, you can get switched off. Yes, you can get, so I don't really see myself getting submitted anytime soon, but you can get submitted. You can get X, Y, and Z happen to you. I'd most preferably not like to get a heel hook submission on me. That would be terrible. But
yeah,
overall, it's a game I feel like I'm very comfortable in. I've got all the moves. I know all the system. I know it's like a system. I know the
yeah.
map, and I'm very calm, confident. And at middleweight, I've got no problems. And I just it's just a big opportunity to me. It's what I say to Modest. This fight in Australia, bro. It's just an opportunity.
Yeah.
Don't look at it as anything but an opportunity for you to make your family's life better, for yourself, everyone around you, and become a well for everyone to drink from. Take it with both hands, and that's what this is. It's not a big deal. It's just fighting, and I love it, and it's fantastic. There's nothing better to do.
I can tell you love it. You mentioned Pereira there. Just finally, the last fight I wanted to ask you about was the fact that obviously the
Uh,
middleweight belt changed hands, and they've announced I was going to say rematch, but I don't think you call it a rematch when they've already fought like multiple times. How do you see this one going? Because obviously Izzy was winning that
yeah,
fight. Does Pereira have his number and win 9 times out of 10, or
I
is he
don't know about 9 times out of 10 and all this kind of stuff because we saw Pereira completely buzzed and rocked at the end of round
Mm,
one. Like it could have been done if there was another 10 seconds.
yeah,
I wouldn't say it's a 9 out of 10 thing. I think it's also like if it was 3 rounds, for example, if it was
yeah,
just 3 rounds, Israel would have won. I think it's just a situation where Pereira hits. This is the thing about fighting, right? People don't really understand is there's skills and there's quality and there's technique, and then there's this thing called just athleticism. And
yeah,
people don't understand what this thing is. It's like it comes from jumping, it comes from you know power, it comes from coordination. There's this thing where you have a physical element as well, and then there's the skills to go with it. And he's the kind of guy where Pereira has skills and he has power, whereas Izzy, he's more, yeah, I'd say he's more skillful, but he ain't got as much power. And this is the thing,
yeah,
you see it with Ngannou. Ngannou has the bazooka, and it's like he's 30 pounds bigger than Stipe. It's a difficult night for Steve. You know what I mean? He did well on the
yeah,
first one, but this is what I'm trying to say. With fighting, when you've got that power element, you can not even be that good at fighting, but you can
yeah.
make yourself so dangerous in a fight because
Deontay
this thing.
Wilder,
He was good. He was decent. I'm not. Come on, he windmilled it sometimes, but he definitely improved his boxing. Nowhere near Fury.
yeah,
Nowhere
yeah,
near the feints, the footwork, the knowledge, the IQ. But what does he have? He has a bazooka,
yeah,
and this is the thing. They've also got this other thing called instinct and this nature to fucking want to kill and want to
yeah,
murder, and that's part of it. It's the psychological plus that power, but it's just about. I look at it like the ring of power. You want to have it all. You want to have the striking, with the wrestling, with the grappling, the wall, the get ups, the the psychological violence, the intensity, the IQ, the brains. You look Mayweather, clever boxer. Clever. It's about having the whole picture and having
yeah,
as much of it as. But what Mayweather didn't have is the savagery of Tyson, in my opinion. He was just
yeah.
decisioning everybody. I mean,
Mhm.
people say it's broken hands and stuff, but with Pereira, the way I see it is absolute killer. He's
Yeah,
so good, man, because he's technically good fighter. He's a killer in the mind. You can see it in the eyes. He's a savage, and he's more of a savage than Izzy. I can just see it. Izzy's good. Izzy's even smarter. Izzy's even more technical, but he doesn't have the power. Doesn't have that aggression that Pereira has, and that's ultimately what I feel like wins it for Pereira. But it's not a 9 times out of 10. I don't believe. I
yeah,
think I think they're very close in power level, and you never know what could happen. It could be a situation where Pereira comes into that fight not feeling as great one week, and then Izzy wins, or Izzy's not. But overall, if I had to say, it's Pereira because he's got that power plus more animalistic, and he's still quite a quality fighter. But it's just yeah, it's crazy when you say these things to me because you're just making me break down the game in my head even more. And I have a
yeah,
different understanding to fighting than most people because people just look at it and just think there's just two people fight. I look at layers of it. Izzy
yeah,
switching stance. Pereira don't even switch stance. But
Mhm.
Pereira's still such a savage because he's still got great moves. He's still got like a great leg kick, a great calf kick. He took out Israel's perennial nerve. Um, so clearly he's quality. He's beaten great kickboxers. He's got
Yeah.
technique there to see. I just think Izzy's the most technical kickboxer I've ever seen. Or
Yeah.
Cyril Gane. Or
I
Cyril
think
Gane.
I think this could be like a fight where not a lot happens because I think Izzy's
Mm.
not going to take any chances this time.
But yeah, but you gotta say if you don't take this is the thing, you don't take
I think he'll
chances.
just try to outpoint him.
But they tried to outpoint him last time and it didn't work.
Yeah, but then I think he engaged in the final round, thinking he was
Mm,
kind of home and dry
mm,
almost, and I
mm.
don't think he'll be making that
Yeah.
mistake again. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we see like them both go for it, but I've just got a feeling that he'll try and play it more tactically
Don't forget he got
all the
stopped.
way through. I
When you
know,
get
yeah,
stopped, it's not as impressive beating the guy who stopped you by a decision. It's like
on
McGregor
point.
when he beat
Yeah.
Nate, for example. Although we can always say, I won, it's 1-1. It's not 1-1. One guy got completely choked out and finished. The other guy just about survived the decision, and the other guy was on top of you, getting off of you, helping you up. They're not the same victories. It's not 1-1. So all I will say is Izzy probably has a bit of that revenge in his mindset. But it's just difficult. But we'll see. It's a great fight. It's definitely not 90% Pereira. That's damn sure. Izzy's
Yeah.
the most technical striker, the most fluid I've ever seen. He switches stances. Pereira doesn't even do that. He feints on each side. It's just Pereira has the fuck. He has that check hook. He has knees, and they're all way more powerful. So it's just this, and he's still very skillful. So it's just it's a mad game. And then you don't even know about the grappling. There was wrestling in that fight as well. There was grappling and wrestling in that fight. So, Izzy was taking him down, Pereira was taking him down. It was all mad. It was madness. I love MMA, man. It's so fun. It's so fun.
It really is fun,
Crazy. It's
and
crazy.
I'm very excited for what we've got coming up. I'm excited for
Mm.
Modestus's fight next
Who have
week.
you got, Edwards or Usman? Who have you got for that one, for the second fight?
Usman.
Yeah, I do as well. Yeah.
Again, I just can't see. I feel like he switched off a little bit in
Yeah.
the last fight, and
Yeah.
I can't see him
The only
making
the
that
only thing
mistake
we
again.
can say is Leon Edwards won round one, and it was at altitude that fight. Whereas this fight will be in the
Yep.
hometown of London, and also how much does it psychologically affect Usman getting knocked out? But overall, yes, I'm gonna go with it, Usman as well as you because yeah, he's a very good fighter.
Yeah, I think so. We've
It's
got
a
some
great card though,
amazing.
isn't it?
It
That's
is.
coming to London. It's a pay per view, and like, are you gonna be there? Are you gonna be what? Are you gonna be at home watching it? What are you gonna do?
No, I'm there as a fan,
Yeah,
and I'll be at Cage Warriors the night before. It's going to be incredible.
okay.
So
I'm gonna just be at home watching it all. Just gonna be with my coffees watching it.
yeah, and
Fair enough. Is it
you're
going to be late or is it? What time is it going to be? You
no,
reckon?
I think it's on a normal like
Because
English
American pay per
time.
view don't they do it for America? Because I remember when Manchester Bisping, I had to
I
I had to
remember as
go
well, like
to what
5
4 a.m.
a.m.
5 a.m.
Yeah. No, I think like since the Disney deal, it seems like, and because they've had like some of the ones in Abu Dhabi on at like normal time for us, it seems like they're more comfortable with doing some of the um pay-per-views earlier for the States. So it's good for us. Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be great to have Justin Gaethje on that card as well. I really, really wanted Arnold Allen on that card. I really
Yeah,
did.
yeah, he's
That
good.
is my dream fight. But I'm glad that that's been announced against Max Holloway. So yeah, it's going to be insane. We've got some insane fights coming up, but I am buzzing for your fight, Will. It's so well deserved. I'm so glad you got the title shot.
It's so good. That it's for the belt. You know what I mean? It's so good. It's for the belt.
It
So good.
needed
It's
to
for the
be to
belt.
find you an opponent, I think, just to make someone accept.
But hey, it's all good. We're gonna get that belt. We're gonna go UFC. I'd say what Leon Edwards pound for pound number one, Arnold Allen pound for pound number two in the UK. Yeah, I mean, I want to be one of these people. This is the game plan. I think Duncan's going to go up there. I think he's going to win these fights as well. It's looking good, man. Everything's looking good. Just got to stay consistent, keep working hard, and let fate play out as it will.
100%. Enjoy Australia. Keep in touch, and I wish you all the very best for your fight, Cam, and staying healthy. And I just can't wait to see you in there, March 24th.
I will. I'll get
Brilliant.
through the camp. But thank you so much, Katie. It was a great interview as always. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Will. Cheers.